Hey guys, it's Niklas here from upgradeToLife.com, and in this video today I want to talk with you about don't be double-minded, the power of being single-minded, right? So double-minded in simple terms is basically when you are wavering between your states, when you're wavering between your decisions, when you're not really sticking with a decision and you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and therefore maybe the results are not really staying and you have some short-lived results. So this is what is the benefit of being single-minded, right? You make a decision, you stay with that, or you choose a state and you remain faithful to that state of consciousness, to that new identity until you see the results from that. And you don't go back and forth. So this can be very powerful. And in today's video, I want to talk first of all with you about some quotes that Neville shared when it comes to being double-minded and being single-minded. And then I want to ask you the question, are you double-minded, right? Are you going back and forth? Is it that you don't get long-lasting results? And I want to ask you some questions with which you can find this out. And then I want to give you just a summary that you can take home from that video so that you become more single-minded, okay? So with that, let's jump to the video. Now, first of all, Neville said, you cannot assume you have your desire for one little moment and then return to your former state, for if you do, you are double-minded. You are a double-minded man and will not receive anything. So what Neville calls the double-minded man is basically when you go back and forth between two states. Right, you maybe are in a state of where you don't have what you want, you don't see the changes that you want in your life or the person that you want to be, whatever it may be. And then there is a state where you already know, yep, that's normal for me. That's what I occupy. This is my new life. This is who I am right now, who I'm choosing to be. But when you go back and forth between those states, and only because some not so nice circumstances are happening, you then revert back to the old state, you are just double-minded and you never are going to make this new state normal for you, which is required for it to be manifested. He then continues and he says, the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And I'm quite sure what he means, or that is at least how I interpreted this, is that there is this very, very, very important concept, which is called how you do one thing is how you do everything. Which just means when you look at your life and you, for example, half as how you treat yourself, you half as your maybe fitness, you half as how you approach your business, whatever it may be, then it's most likely that you also half as most or actually all areas of your life, which means maybe your room is not that tidy, or you skip a lot of stuff that you should do. I'm sure you get the point. Right, it's just how you do one thing is how you do everything. But when you, for example, always finish stuff, whether it's in the current project that you're doing, in your relationship, and when you make a promise to people and you stick with that, you make a decision, then most likely you are going to do this in all of your areas. So the double-minded man is when you are always not sure and going back and forth between two decisions, two states, then most probably this is how you will do it in all life areas, and therefore you won't really get great and long-lasting results. So, like Neville said, only as one is willing to give up his present limitations and identity can he become that which he desires to be. And I shared this quote on my Instagram page, for example, as well, which means only people who are willing to actually and 100% step into this new state of consciousness, right, occupy this new identity where therefore they are exactly how they want to be, and therefore have the results that they want to have, they are going to be that, right? To experience the results of that. But when you're double-minded and you maybe think of your goal, yeah, that would be so great, but then you still occupy this old state, this old identity, and live from that, again, you will never really get things done. You will never really realize your goals, and you will just remain in this loop, in this cycle, and it can be very unpleasant. He also said, and this is a story where he said, in my own family, my brother Victor befriended a man who, at the end of his life, left a very large sum of money to him. Victor had a consuming desire to have money, and he never had a divided mind. So basically, his brother, he founded an awesome business, and he also manifested the business for the Goddard family. where whenever he would walk across a building, he imagined that the building is saying not the actual name that was on top of the building, but it's at Goddard's and Sons, and he did this for 2 years. So this manifestation took him 2 years, but at the end, this brought a very wealthy business that I think even till today's makes millions, and it brought millions to the family, and the business is still existing. So, and he never had a divided mind on this, right? He was sure, okay, yep, this is what I want. He was clear on his end result. So it was clear, okay, yep, I want to be wealthy. I want to have this amazing business, a successful business. And he never went back and forth between, should I really do this? Am I worthy of this? Is it possible for me to occupy this state? And went back and forth. No, he stayed with that, and then he realized this successful business. So he wanted wealth more than anything and believed that money was power. He was tired of poverty and dreaming wealth. His world was populated with people bringing opportunities to make more and more money, right? So because he was in that state of wealth, his circumstances showed this back to me, and people played their parts perfectly because everyone is the self pushed out and just mirroring back the internal state. So people brought opportunities where he can make more money for his business. And Neville also said, I'm not speaking about some little magical thing where you can wave a wand and your desire will suddenly appear. This law is based upon a principle. If you want something, you can have it, but you must be willing to give up what you are now in order to be what you want to be. So you must be willing to be single-minded, right? To only be with your desired state. If you are clear on this, right? If you're not clear, first of all, get clarity about you, your life. I'm teaching people how to do this in my program in 1 week. So very important, right? And I'm sure by now you start to get this power of being single-minded and stay with your preferred state until you actually see the changes from that decision. And that is the only price you pay. The only price you pay is actually to die to your former state of being, state of consciousness and identity, right? So that you are this new version of yourself. The same is actually what I did, because before I was led to Neville's teachings, before I started to create this channel and help people also achieve their goals, I was very double-minded. And when I started to realize how this works and applied it in my life, I made this decision that, okay, this is who I want to be, and I shifted into this identity of a successful business owner, and a person who's easy with making money and all of this, and that is exactly what started to play out, and obviously it will play out even more when I continue staying in that state. I made a video called My Personal Story and Some Success Stories. You can watch this. I will link it above. So Neville also said, the only price you pay, right? That's the only price you pay. No sacrifice is required outside of giving up to the state in which you have find yourself and moving into the state where you want to be. For they're only states, right? It's only a state that you occupy. There are infinite states. I also made a video called Infinite States. Check this out if you haven't watched this yet, where I explain that when you think life not in this linear way from A to B, but more in this like there are infinite states that you occupy, and therefore you have different experiences, then it becomes easier to imagine the end, to occupy those states, to identify with those states, with this version of yourself, and then therefore see the results and the goals and the manifestations that you want to have in your life. So disengage yourself from the whole vast belief that you formerly entertained, and hold on your imagination to the concept that you are the man that you want to be. For you will resurrect and make alive the state that began only as a concept. If you remain faithful to that concept, you will be led right into the fulfillment of that state, right? So what I like so much is this resurrect, which means you will basically like die to the old state and then resurrect in this new state. Neville calls this like spiritual rebirth. I also explained and mentioned that in another video, which is you have this spiritual rebirth of this in this new state. So it's not a very special thing. I mean, don't let yourself be misguided or don't get confused about those names, spiritual rebirth, resurrection. It's just meaning that you start to identify yourself with a new state and therefore make this state alive but it already exists. You should just occupy this new set of beliefs, this new set of assumptions, this new state, and therefore you see the results of that, right? Just remember, your life is a mirror of your internal state. Now, the question is, are you double-minded? Right? That is also what I want to help you with figuring out, because many people don't even realize that, because they are caught up in their patterns. They're really unconscious, and they don't even realize that they're unconscious in some of their life areas, and then they wonder why it may be that they don't have the results that they want to have when it comes to their relationships, their money, their health, right? So check out those questions. First question, are you not buying your favorite drink only because it is discounted, right? So are you not buying your favorite drink only because it's discounted? Maybe I phrase this a little bit wrong, but the question actually is, so are you, when you have a favorite drink, right? You have a favorite drink in a store, it's favorite thing that you drink. Do you, for example, only not buy it because it is not discounted, or do you only buy it when it is discounted and it costs 33 cents more or less, right? So single-minded and wealthy people, they don't fear paying the full price. They come from an abundant state, they buy quality. So don't be confused about that. The only thing that I want to bring across here is that when you, for example, step into the state of being wealthy, right? But really by occupying that, by imagining things that imply you are in the state, therefore making this normal to you until you start to respond from a more wealthy state. And then you go to the grocery store and then there is your favorite drink and it's not discounted and it costs some cents more as it usually does. Are you then saying to yourself, oh, like it's 30 cents more? No, I don't buy this. No, I don't buy this. I buy it only when it's discounted. Because that is just a small sign of this, or that is just one example of this divided mind thinking, right? But when you are actually in a state of wealth, you would automatically be like, who cares about the 30 cents? I mean, I'm wealthy, but don't do this in the pretend kind of style. Only obviously do this when you're really coming from the state, when you've occupied the state, when this is normal for you. Because trust me, when this state is normal for you, you don't even think about thinking twice about, or 30 cents too much for me, right? And I'm not talking about when there is a product that you want to purchase and it costs 30 million more, that you then buy it and you, I don't know, you sell your house or whatever. This is not what this is about, right? I made a video. It's called Why Acting As If It's Not Enough. Check this out. So it's more like a mindset thing. You cannot be divided in your mind, right? Be single-minded and stay in a state of wealth. So also, are you joining negative conversations and gossip talk and spend time with all this negativity? So single-minded, successful, peaceful people have no time for gossip talking and lame excuses. They know that talking low level is fueling a low level life. So when you only spend time with negative people that say negative stuff, or just the news and, oh, this person died, this happened, this negative stuff happened, this and that, and you engulf yourself in all of this, then guess what? You just lower your state when you're unconscious, and you just identify with all of the circumstances, and you're not really making progress, and you divide your mind. Maybe someday you're successful, but then you give yourself into those, or you lower yourself to all of those shitty conversations that not really going to benefit you. So why doing that, right? This is not really helping you. And even Neville said this, right? Why do you want to entertain the gossip talk and all this bullshit? And also, are you blaming others or the current circumstances, right? That is also a sign for being double-minded. So single-minded people take full responsibility and don't go back and forth in their approach to manifesting, career, relationships, all life areas, right? They have this go-getter mindset. They are clear on what they want, and they occupy the state of already having that, already being this version of themselves, and therefore actually experiencing that. And you see many successful people out there that do this, maybe sometimes unknowingly, but they apply the same law, because it is you can't escape this law. It works all the time. So right now, I want you to ask yourself, am I double-minded, right? Am I double-minded in my life? And I want to ask you, are you double-minded? Look at your life, look at how you think, watch your patterns, become a little bit more aware of how you deal with all of this stuff. And when you do those little things, those are just indications, again, that you may be a little bit double-minded. So get aware of that. Now I want to summarize what we spoke about so that you have something some key learnings, some key takeaways from this video. Now, first of all, most people are double-minded, hoping for a better future while bathing in their current level of consciousness. So most people, they do what Neville just called thinking of, right? They think of, oh, it would be so great if I would be rich, would be so great if I would have this relationship, would be so great if I could travel more, have this better lifestyle, have this life that I actually want, but I don't feel worthy, I don't feel deserving. And then they come up with the same excuses, and they are just double-minded, right? They go back and forth, but therefore they don't occupy this new state that they want, and they remain at their current level of consciousness, and therefore at their current circumstances. So you can't walk around pretending, right? Remember, I mentioned this video some minutes ago. I linked this video above with pretending is not enough. Check this out, because pretending won't help you. This is all about really like a real internal shift. This is not about some pretend shit and do some surface level shit. This is some real internal stuff, because that gets you long-lasting changes while you don't fall back into the old state and you don't become double-minded again. So if you're going to truly come from a new state of consciousness, right? If you're single-minded, you shift into this state and you are only remaining there, then you must be willing to give up all lack-based thinking, all lack-based decision-making. Because the lack-based decision-making, the lack-based thinking is actually the key to failure. Why do you want to think lackfully when there is no lack to begin with? Right? It's only a human-made product that there's lack, that there is not enough, and all of this kind of this stuff. So all comes down to being single-minded, right? To be clear what you want. This was always Neville's first step. Neville's first step always was to know what you want, choose something that implies you already have it, and then imagine that until it becomes natural, right? Imagine something that implies it is natural. So truly living from a new state, from the state of the wish fulfilled, that is what is being single-minded means. It's not going back and forth, right? Neville's brother Victor, when he wanted to be wealthy, and he first started to occupy this new state, but then he maybe still looked at his bank account and wasn't rich, he didn't went back to, oh, yeah, right, this doesn't work, manifestation, the law of assumption doesn't work, shit, okay, I remain there. No, he was single-minded, he stayed with his decision and stick to his decision, and therefore eventually he got the results step by step by step by step. So that is the power of being single-minded, and I'm sure I brought this point across so that you now know, stop the double-minded shit, don't go back and forth in your life, in whatever life area it is, and then you will see the results. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to learn more about how you can make this shift happen from your current identity, the current self-concept you have of yourself, the current state you're in, into this new state, this new identity where you already are, this new version of yourself that you want to be, that has the things that you desire, then make sure to check out my free masterclass. You will find the link for that in the description down below. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave me some comments. See you in the next video. Bye, guys.